What is going on, guys? Now, this is a podcast I've wanted to do for a while. Me and this man are finally collabing. Well, maybe not in the way a lot of you, or maybe even me and him, expected to. But I'm joined today by the man who told us the PS5 is coming in 2019. The one and only Colt Eastwood. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. I'm having a good day. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good,
2019.
man.
It could be.
Yeah, it's coming.
It could
coming
be
2019. So, me and you have talked a lot recently, the last couple days, and you floated the idea of doing this little, special podcast.
Oh yeah.
Since the normal podcast that you're on, shout out to Dealer Gaming and Ash and Lucca and Fonzarelli and All Fraud Digital.
And
you guys, yes, in South. You guys do RDX on Tuesdays, but Dealer's out of town, so shout out to RDX Podcast and all those guys there. But you want to do a little something with me today. We're going to talk about Xbox One X versus PC game. Colt, what are you doing to me, Colt?
I don't know. I mean, why not? I mean, let's just talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but that's something we should talk about. Yeah, Rand, you and I have been on Xbox Live Party Chats a little bit this week since I now have an Xbox since mine came like a week late. But yeah, we've been having some good discussions and thought, why not just have this discussion with everybody else? Share
right.
what we think and what we know and what we think we know.
And I also put in, for anybody out there who doesn't know who Colt Eastwood is, make sure to follow him on Twitter. Check out his YouTube channel. They're in the descriptions. Colt's got a booming YouTube channel. We're talking, what are you at now? Almost 30,000 subs now? When you were at like 2,000 months ago?
Don't church it up too much. I just hit 26,000.
Just hit 26,000.
It's a slow crawl, but I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm glad people care. I'm glad they're watching. It's really good. It's been really, really fun.
Right. Alex, Jez will be doing Xbox 2 tomorrow with the regular scheduled program with Jez, of course, every Wednesday. Today's just one of those special additional podcasts, and it's just going to be me and Colt, unless more people decide to kamikaze into the podcast, crash the podcast, but I don't think that'll happen. But yeah, I mean, Colt, I got to say, I love your videos, and when I watch them, I am always, I want to for my channel's very low budget. I don't really have a PC to do all the awesome stuff that you do, and I just want to say the production value in your videos is insane, and I really enjoy watching them just for that simple, aspect. But of course, I got to listen to what the Colt Eastwood has to say, and the banjo music, right?
It's an acoustic guitar, yeah.
But you were doing YouTube for a long time before you blew up. I mean, what's it like to kind of finally be vindicated? Maybe not so much vindicated, but people maybe now more appreciating what you bring to the table than before.
Oh, it's been, I tried all kinds of different things. I started my channel 10 years ago, but I just uploaded a couple of things, like me doing some singing stuff, and then I was just kind of cataloging, shooting firearms with friends and family and stuff, just for fun. And when the Xbox One came out, you could game DVR, and that's when I decided I really wanted to do a gaming channel like everyone else. But everyone else could do one too. So it's been basically since Destiny came out is when I tried to do a YouTube channel. I reviewed Destiny, got 1,000 views, and I couldn't believe it. And then it never went anywhere after that. Yeah.
Understandable. And shout out to Daniel J, who hit up the super chat and says, "Tell Jez I said hello, governor." Well, I will make sure to tell Jez that tomorrow when we do Xbox 2. But yeah, I gotta say, congrats on the success of your channel. I look forward to all your videos, and I know you just posted your review. We're gonna talk about your review of the X, but can you just tell me how it's a 14-minute video, how much actual work and effort goes into making these videos? Because for me, I get OBS, I grab a mic and I talk. Sometimes if I have a gameplay for a review, it takes a little bit longer to edit the gameplay clips in, but you go all out. You make custom images and all that stuff. Tell me how long it takes your process of making a Colt Eastwood production.
Well, real video production, which is what I try to do, like I'm talking like production, full on production that you see on TV. I think it takes, for every minute of my video, it probably takes at least an hour or 2 hours per minute to produce a video. You know, I do graphics custom for each thing that I'm covering, and I grab relative clips. I try to edit my gameplay clips so that you're watching like the coolest moment. If I've got Assassin's Creed Origins on there, I grab that 2.5 minutes of the best clip I can find that I've recorded, like that sort of thing. And because I want people to stick around long enough to hear what I have to say. You know, I put these graphics up, infographics and facts and stuff. I could just grab a screenshot, but sometimes I like to kind of make it look like I'm put a little more effort. But people argue with me in the comment section because they think I'm lying or I don't know what I'm talking about. But what they don't realize is all of the research behind there. I don't make a specialty infographic unless I'm trying to make a point, and people may not like the perspective. Like, let's talk about last week I said Xbox has no games, but I covered the backward compatibility games, and people call bullcrap because those games are old. But my perspective is I own those games. I bought them. Xbox Live gives me 2 of them every month, and usually at least 1 every 2 months I love. And those are my games. And Microsoft says if we have those patched, or if we have them approved, that you can play them. And that's what I wanted to kind of explain to people. Is like, don't look at the forefront. GameSpot said, here's the games on Metacritic that are 70 and above, and they totally ignore backward compatibility. But when I went through the backward compatibility list of 444 games, there was 240 that rated 70 and above, and that list was chocked full of games that all of you that are gamers would look back and go, "Oh man, those games were the bomb back in the day." And it's interesting. People don't like my perspective, but I like all the games. I like the Mass Effect series and Borderlands 1 and 2 and Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. I like all those games, and I still love them. And
no, they are great games. But I had a little problem with that video, and we talked about it, right?
Yep.
I'm not a fan of including last gen games into a Metacritic discussion of current gen games, but it's your video, not mine.
Well, I also, you notice I didn't say Xbox One is better because this, but I did say it is a detriment to the PlayStation platform that some of the best games of the gaming generation, in my opinion, are the 360 and PS3 era. Some of the biggest, most powerful games like Red Dead Redemption, The Last of Us. There's just a ton of games that were just outstanding. And I think those matter, and those matter to me. And I wasn't saying that Xbox is better, but I was saying look at what they offer. It's a really good thing for the platform. And look at this, Rand. I think I might have said this to you the other night. Every month, PS Plus users, they pay $60 a year, and they get 2 PS3 games, 2 Vita games, and 2 PS4 games. They can't play almost all those PS3 games. They can't play on their PS4, even though they're giving them every month. And I don't understand where the disconnect is. I don't understand why they don't. If that game is on PS Now, why doesn't Sony just say you can have those games free access on PS Now if we've given them to you, or you bought them over time? There's like what, 500 games on PS Now service?
There's quite a bit, I believe, yeah.
Right? I mean, I think they're about 500, and I don't know how many are PS3 games, but I can bet you a good chunk of those have been either given out on PS Plus, or people own them digitally or still have the discs. I know PlayStation is the top platform. I think they need to act like it with that and offer their loyal customers some of that service.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to disagree with you on there. Like, I like the idea of backwards compatibility. It just, I don't have any use for it. And I'm looking for current games from this gen and future games. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of all the Xbox games and the OG Xbox games being on the service as like a promise, being like, hey, you can invest here and your games will move forward with you. You know, I talked to you in party chat the other day, and I was like, I wouldn't include 360 games in the Metacritic argument because those are games from last gen. Even some of the games that you had there, like Walking Dead Season 1 on the Xbox One, wasn't included on the PS4 version, even though you can, there's a whole bunch of different things, but it's a different perspective. You think, that the 360 back compat game should be included there. I don't think so. And I don't think we're going to see eye to eye on that one. So
no. I mean, there's people that absolutely, just like you, they don't care about old games. They're always moving forward. But there are people who are on, I mean, there's a lot of systems that support backward compatibility, and PC, of course, supports all the way back to the very first game ever invented. But I don't know. They're games we own. I have Red Dead Redemption here on disc that I can put in, or I can play the digital version I bought for $10. But I don't know. Some games are great. Some new games. This gen, to me, if I was going to compare the two gens, there's been way more of my favorite games in the 360 era than there was in the Xbox One era. But I'm having a lot of fun right now.
No, I mean, I'm having a great time with the X, and maybe we should transition into your review that you talked about today of the system. How are you feeling with the X coming from, the master race, the PC master race? How you enjoying the X, the $500 system, the most powerful console ever, as Microsoft, constantly hits us with.
The very first thing that struck me, as I started playing on the Xbox, was like I was playing Assassin's Creed Origins. I shut off the Xbox, my TV turned off, and my stereo turned off at the same time because of the IR blaster. And then I went to bed, and I got up in the morning and turned on my Xbox, and I hit Assassin's Creed Origins, and it was still sitting in the pause menu. And I was like, oh, I forgot. That is so great because, and I don't know if it's the way I did things on PC, but every time I was done with the game, I make sure there's a point where I could save, shut it off. I closed Steam so I wouldn't get messages. And I left my computer on, but I go to bed. So I could never leave a game. I never wanted to leave a game on sitting and running all night or all day where I'm at work on PC. I just never did. I don't know if that's just fine, but I never felt like I should do that. But I just like how it powers down and the game's right back up immediately. And there's sleep mode in PC. I can't stand sleep mode, but maybe it's the same. I don't know. There's just things that I like. It seems like a weird thing to point out. And maybe I needed to set up my PC a different way, but I've kind of been doing it the same way for a couple of years.
You're specifically talking about like Instant On, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, so you'll be playing a game and you say Assassin's Creed and you're like, I'm done. You'll just turn the system off, right? And then when you start the system back up, you'll be right there in the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, I never do that. I always quit out of everything I do. And when I even though I keep the system instant on so I can download updates and stuff while the system's off, I never keep a game running overnight.
Oh, really? Even though it's in like sleep mode?
Well, there were instances originally where there'd be memory leaks if you run games and your system would be sluggish. So I would always try to avoid that. But yeah, I don't know, like, because I don't know. Like I never know what necessarily I want to play when I get on. So it's like I get on and I sit there and I'm like, well, let me look through all my games, 1,000 of them. Like, what do I want to play? But I can see how for some people, like, hey, I'm done for Assassin's Creed for a night. I'm gonna leave it right here, turn it off, and turn it back on, and be right back there. It's a quality of life thing. It's not.
Jonas Spencer in the chat says sleep mode on PC is not good. I've just never liked sleep mode on PC, and that's fraudulent of me to say that I don't know if it's as good because I absolutely have not used it on a newer PC. I used to use it way back on like Windows 98 PCs, but this one I just try and keep everything no fuss. I try and just close out everything and then I just leave it on. I don't shut down. I don't restart unless I need to.
Yeah, and True Marvelous just said, just finished playing Guardians of the Galaxy Episode 1 on the X, and the X even fixes the shitty performance of Telltale games. Now, that is something I have wanted to test out because the Telltale games have really bad performance on the Xbox One.
Why?
Now, I haven't... Their engine is just horribly optimized, right? From the Minecraft games to the Batmans to the Tales from Borderlands and Wolf Among Us. It's the biggest complaint of their engine. So I was kind of curious to see how X would, make that experience better. And he says that it makes it a lot better. So I'll probably I do have Guardians of the Galaxy and Minecraft Season 2 and the new Batman season to play, so I'll be interested in going with that. But back to the X. So what's the feature that stands out the most to you? Like, I think when you were talking about it, you said, Rand, like, this is PC gaming in a $500 box, basically.
Yeah,
maybe not like the upper echelon of PC gaming.
It's simplified, you know. I think one of the greatest things, if you're going to give a blanket statement about the X, is the greatest thing is it's a simplified, kind of a dumbed down PC experience, and it really is, because some games where a lot of people can be playing Assassin's Creed Origins at 60 frames, but the Xbox One and the PS4 can't do that, right? So, but the more power and the more you demand out of a PC, more problems. I don't know. I don't know what happened over the past 2 years, but I seem to be the most unlucky PC gamer on the planet. It's really, really crazy.
Right. Well, you know, someone just dropped a super chat, Daniel
Yes,
J,
I saw that.
for $5. Thank you, sir. And we'll answer the question right now, I guess. We were going to talk about this later, but he wants us to talk about it right now. What are your thoughts on Europe trying to ban loot boxes because it's considered gambling, and how will this affect the gaming industry? I did see that today, Colt. Did you see today? So the Belgium came out today and said that loot boxes are gambling, and that they're going to try to get Europe to ban loot boxes, like full stop, in the European Union.
They consider that gambling, even though you can't open up a loot box that gives you real money back. That would be my personal definition of gambling, is if you could pay $5 for a set of loot boxes and one could possibly have $2 or $80 in it. But
I mean,
there's a whole CSGO skins gambling problem, and
yeah, I mean, it kind of like tiptoes on the idea of gambling. You know, I mean, you are giving money and not necessarily knowing what you get. My problem with loot boxes is like there's no odds anywhere. You know, you go buy a lotto ticket or you go buy like trading cards or any of this stuff. They have the odds on the package. 1 in 5, 1 in 100. You know exactly what are the odds that you're going to get this stuff. But none of that stuff is there for Overwatch or Halo 5 or any of the games. Like, what is the odds of you getting a legendary card in that pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be kind of regulated. I think they should be forced to tell us what the odds are for that stuff. But I kind of agree with the sense that it's not gambling in the truest form of like Las Vegas gambling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I guess, I mean, how would it affect, the future of gaming? Like, say, hypothetical situation here. Say Belgium's right, it is gambling. The European Union outlaws it, right?
Yeah.
And so they ban it, right? So that means the video game company has to completely change how they do it. Does that mean all of a sudden like they'll raise the price of video games? Does that mean different types of microtransactions, more nickel and diming? I mean, this might have a far wider, impact than just, oh, no more loot boxes,
Oh my gosh. Why can't they just keep things so simple like they were just a few years ago? We weren't dealing with this a few years ago, I don't even think. I mean, there were microtransactions, but they were never a big. It is greed, plain and simple, and people need to quit buying them.
Unfortunately, I think we're past that stage of people not buying them. It's
I know,
kind of there. But thank you for the super chat, and hopefully that answers your question. And that we were going to talk about that, right, Colt? I mean, I brought it up to you, but I guess we just talk about it now. But now back to Xbox One X. What everybody wants to hear. So what has impressed you the most about the system, Colt, coming from PC gaming?
Gears of War 4, running at only 1080p, but it's 60 frames. I played through that game at 1440p on PC with Dealer. He helped me co-op through the whole thing because I had waited up till now to play it, like a couple months ago. And I have a pretty good memory of how that game looked and felt. And when I played it the other day at 1080 60, I was like amazed. at what they did, because it was funny. Dealer and I have talked quite a bit about what the X will be able to do, and we've collaborated on that. And I've run through lists with him, like, hey, what do you think will actually run native 4K, what won't? And we combed through those, like, and checked all the facts and what previous games did and how the studio runs their games. And he said a bunch of times that he doesn't think that Gears 4 would be able to do 60 at any resolution. And the Coalition like pulled out a miracle with that little processor they have in the X. It's really amazing.
And they did some.
That's really surprising.
I was really impressed with the 1080p 60 mode. Like, I was like, oh my god, I want to play this 1080p 60 right now. I want to play through the campaign. I wish I hadn't played through the campaign already, because I totally would have played it again. That's one of the things I like about not only X but the Pro. Because for me, like, it's not about the X being better than Pro. I leave that to other people because I don't care. I'm not. Yes, I prefer Xbox. Everybody knows that, but I'm not here to lift one system up while at the same time, Well,
the X is
putting another system down, right? That's not what I do.
The X is better than the Pro, but the PS4 platform this generation has way more games than the bigger games. But talking about putting the consoles in a vacuum, which doesn't do anybody any good. Yes, the X is a much better system. Yeah, that's just how it is with consoles. Like, you got to hold stuff back from the competition. On PC, it isn't like that. They get just about every game other than Horizon Zero Dawn and Halo 5, right?
Right. Yeah. But all I'm trying to say is, like, it didn't matter to me that technically the PS4 was better than the original Xbox, or that the Xbox One X is better than the PS4 Pro, because it doesn't matter. Right. What I wanted was a system that was better than the Xbox. I wanted an Xbox system that was better than what I had.
Exactly.
And that's what I got. And one of the things I like about what the mid-gen refreshes have done is I like the options some of the games give you. I like hey, you want to play in full-on 4K resolution mode, you can do that. However, if you want to play in performance mode, maybe get 60 frames or a higher frame rate, you can choose that. Like, I like the choice of, like, hey, you can choose that. Of course, I'll always choose performance mode because frame rate is way more important to a game than resolution. Right. Don't at me, Of course. That's just kind of how I feel. But, like, here I am with the X, and I said it in my review. The games all run better, and that's all I ever wanted from the system. It has nothing to do with it being better or not better than the PlayStation, or being not better and better than the Nintendo. It's just like, that's what I wanted from Xbox, and that's what I got. I leave all the other PS4 Pro nonsense to other people, but this is when I was coming from. So
yeah, and who are you to tell someone else not to buy the X, especially someone who has a game library on the Xbox and they want that base Xbox was it had problems. It had all kinds of problems.
And I still enjoyed every game I played on it, even
exactly
the sub resolutions, even Call of Duty Ghost at 720p, or Star Wars Battlefront at 720p, or the crappier frame rate. I still enjoyed the games I played on it. Sure,
I wasn't thinking about that.
Go ahead.
I wasn't thinking about that when I played a couple of my favorite games this generation. When I was playing Dying Light, I wasn't thinking about the resolution. When I was playing Shadow of Mordor, I wasn't thinking about the resolution. When I was playing Wolfenstein, New Order, and Old Blood, like, those are some of the biggest games that I love the most on this platform. When I was playing Fallout 4, I wasn't thinking about the resolution. And that stuff is constantly being hammered in on fanboy arguments left and right. But when we're playing the game, we're not thinking about that. Hopefully, we're just playing and enjoying our time. But if you like your Xbox platform, you like the games you have, and you have a nice library, I just have to recommend buying the X. And like you said, the mid-generation for PlayStation and Xbox is a really good idea. I can't believe people actually think it's a bad thing. They're not leaving anything behind. It's this option. Like, do you want something better? It's right here if you want to buy it, and here's the price.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally. If you don't want the X, don't get the X. Enjoy your regular Xbox One. If you don't want the Pro, enjoy your PlayStation. You know,
and you will, and people will. And I've argued with PC gamers to say, why in the heck would you buy the Xbox One X? You know, all it does is make your games look better. And I said, have you ever upgraded your video card? Yeah. Well, we're done talking here. I've upgraded my video card too. Let me tell you guys what happened to me with my PC. Okay, I'll make this story really quick because you know old people that back in 06. Back in 2015, I built my PC and I put in an i5 4590 processor. It was a $199 processor, and I bought a GTX 960, which was, and it came with The Witcher 3. Okay, so my PC was about $800. I started recording gameplay on my PC for my channel, and I was having problems. And my good friend who really knows stuff about PCs, he's like, Colt, you need to upgrade your RAM, because I had 8 gigs of RAM. He's like, buy another stick of RAM and you should be good. So I put $40 or $45 of RAM into my computer, and which pained me because I'd already paid $800 for a PC. And about a year and a half later, I was having problems running new games. And like I was trying to run Forza Apex at 1080p 60, and it was giving me VRAM problems. And I'm like, I don't know. I was getting VRAM errors. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And my buddy's like, that 960 is not cutting it. I'm like, that thing was $200. You know, it's $250. And I was really upset about that. So about a year ago, I bought a GTX 1070, which is a $430 GPU, because I was like all in on PC. I was buying all my games. I stopped buying games on Xbox. I was only using Xbox to play with my Xbox friends. So I know what stuff costs, and I know what it's like to try and build a cheap build and get away with it. And even at 1080p 60, a PC gamer is going to be pretty upset if they're dealing with problems. Lucca says your PC sounds like a nightmare. I had so many problems with it. I even at one point I went through and wiped everything and reset my Windows and reinstalled everything and wasted a good 2 days. I could have been gaming, just doing this tinkering to get stuff fixed, because somebody told me, you know, Colt, you put in RAM and you put in a new GPU. Oh yeah, I forgot. I put in a new power supply because my power supply wasn't powerful enough for the new graphics card. It's absolutely nuts. I said all that, people are like, oh my gosh, Colt shouldn't even be on PC. I had so much fun gaming on that rig, and I still do, and I still will. But oh my gosh, the headaches. When I turn on my Xbox, I just play.
I mean, that is like the whole reason for a console is the simplicity. Turn it on and it works, right? Yeah, although it's gotten a lot more like PC with the constant updates all the time, so it's gone more in that direction. But that's the difference between there. Now, I've talked to you. I've talked to Dealer. I've even talked to, oh no, it's Alex. I am planning on joining PC Master Race. Eventually, my PC is 6 years old, which is why the videos I make are extremely simplistic, because I told you I did my 16-minute Cuphead review, which I did in 1080p, took me over an hour to render.
Yeah.
Which is just unacceptable. So I need a new PC, right? I'm saving all the money I get from YouTube into buying a new PC. And you were telling me, hey, all you need to get is what, like Intel i7 and a GTX 1060?
Yep, that would
be like
really
$800 and you're good to go, right? Essentially. So
yeah,
I'm not really looking to play video games on PC. I'm just kind of looking to have a better PC so I can produce better content for YouTube. You know, maybe I might dabble here and there in something, but honestly, when you're in the Xbox ecosystem or the PlayStation ecosystem, it's hard to give up and move. You know, you have all your friends on Xbox or all your friends on PlayStation, right? You have your achievements or trophy lists. And then the most important thing, or I guess this could be the friends could be the most important thing, but obviously the money issue, like how much you spent. You have an entire library on Xbox. I have over 1,000 games. That's a lot of money and time invested into the platform. And it's very hard to just turn your back and be like, I'm stopping and I'm going to go somewhere else. And I'm sure it's the same for PlayStation fans. So,
yeah, you don't. You keep your console and you have your library and you play it when you want to play your console. You play your PC when you want to play your PC. You know, people kept telling me, why don't you get rid of your Xbox and just buy everything on PC? And I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to spend $200 or $300 replacing some of those last gen games or whatever, games. There's a few that I bought on both platforms, but just keep the one you have. If you bought this system, just keep it. You spent the money, it's yours.
I see a lot of people recommending Ryzen for content creation.
Oh yeah. And they're I don't know about that. They're probably both great.
I know everything about Xbox, everything that goes on from the games to, basically everything. I don't know anything about PC. So when you say Intel i7, Ryzen's, GPUs, I'm just like, my eyes glaze over because I have no clue what anybody talks about. So that it's a little bit, and I'm not afraid to admit this, it's a little bit frightening. It's a little, because I don't understand it,
I would go by budget first, figure out what you want to spend, and then have somebody help you piece together. You really, for you, like we've said this last night when we were talking, I told you that everyone argues about this $500 PC that's as good as an Xbox. I would actually recommend you build that wannabe $500 PC that people say is as good as an Xbox, because you'll be able to do your video production and stuff on it. And if you want to game, a GTX 1060 will play anything at 1080p 60 with a good processor like an i7 or the Ryzen. And then you're only spending $500, and but then you got to buy like hundreds of dollars of software to do your video production. But yeah, it's not easy, right?
No, I mean, but then you got to put the effort in to see the results, right? Like you did. Yeah. I mean, you worked tirelessly to make your videos as good as they were, but you're only seeing minimal return on it. But now you actually are, you spend how many hours on your review for the 10 hours?
Spent 7 or 10 hours or something like that. I try not to count because then I get depressed.
Yeah, but now, hey, the video's doing well. I think it's approaching 10,000 views first day. A
year and a half ago, I've always put in the same amount of time in my videos. My vocal delivery may not sound as polished back then, but I've always done the graphics and pieced together and made like this little mini documentary, which is kind of how I make my videos. And back then I was getting like 45 views. So, if something got 200 some views, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I wanted to do this thing on YouTube where maybe I could make enough money to buy a game every month and to kind of support my habit.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the big topic, Xbox One X versus PC Colt. I know people think that you're going to say Xbox One X all the way, but that's not necessarily the case, right?
Absolutely not. No, of course not.
Right.
No, because I wouldn't be able to do graphics and video production, and I wouldn't have experienced Shadow of War just last month at 60 frames. I played that game at 1440p with 4K textures and all of the effects ramped up at 60 frames per second on my PC. I played on Play Anywhere, which I absolutely love Play Anywhere. And if you don't own a PC, I guess it can be easy for people to bash Play Anywhere, but it's an amazing feature. If just imagine somebody who owns an Xbox and they have a family PC that's, can do some gaming. Like that guy can go over to the computer and play the game if his wife or his brother is playing on the TV. It's kind of a cool thing. Just go over there and it loads your save in like 5 seconds and you can play. But you want to hear a funny story about Shadow of War? I was just talking to another gamer about this today. He had the same problem. I get all the way through the game. I get to the very end where you do the sieges after the kind of the credits roll. And every time I get into a fight, the game goes from 60 frames down to like a locked 10 frames per second, or maybe even less than that. Like it's like stuck at this motion blur, low frame rate mode, and it doesn't get out until I shut off the game and restart it. And I started talking about it on Twitter, and people are like, "Oh, your PC just sucks," or "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about," which is super frustrating when you have a problem. People tell you you're dumb. So I found a couple people on Twitter who have it, and I looked, and they're like, "Oh, it's just the Play Anywhere. Play Anywhere sucks. It's that problem." And I found a huge Steam forum, because the game's also on Steam, of people complaining about this problem. It's like some kind of problem with on PC when the game gets loaded with all your Nemesis stuff and all your fortresses and all your defenses stuff. the game like just gets so bogged down. It has like this glitch. So I stopped playing the game on PC and just went right to Xbox and finished it there. It's really, really cool that you can do that until a patch comes out.
I have not yet played Shadow of War. Like I
You
didn't play
haven't played
Shadow of
Origins
War
either.
No, because I was holding everything until the X. So I finished Star Wars Battlefront. I'm working my way through Call of Duty World War II, which I'll have a review out for soon enough for that. Next, I'm probably going to hit up South Park and then Assassin's Creed, and I'm booked.
Yeah, you are.
I'm booked. Like I got a lot of games. Plus, there are some PlayStation games I want to hit up before the end of December because I want to be able to include them into the Game of Year discussions, like Horizon Zero Dawn and Nier Automata.
You haven't played those yet. Have you?
Yeah.
Have you played Uncharted Lost Legacy or?
No, I might actually do. It's been a while since I played, like it's been some time since I've done Uncharted 4, so I might actually do Uncharted Lost Legacy first because that's a shorter game I could probably knock out.
And Hellblade, you haven't played Hellblade
I already
yet?
played Hellblade. I absolutely adore Hellblade. Hellblade's in my top 5 for the year. Xbox. I mean, if you don't have a Xbox and you have a PC, you should play it there. If you don't have, like play it on PlayStation. Maybe it comes to Xbox in the future. If it does, that'd be awesome.
Because they've just barely broke even on sales. They could use a few more sales. That game is beloved by the whole industry. Yeah,
I mean, they said they're going to they're ahead of their expectations, right? So like it will break even. It would be like that game needs to be experienced by more people. Maybe it does. Maybe it sells more, a little bit more copies on the Xbox. But oh my God, Hellblade was such a great game. Oh, just thinking about it now just makes me smile. And I played that on the Pro. And here's the thing: I played it on the Pro, and I did it in performance mode because I wanted the 60 frames. But apparently, when you do that, like the resolution's like 720p or something or 800.
Yeah,
but
as low as
I didn't notice. Like when I was here's the thing: when I was enjoying Wolfenstein 2 on my Xbox One S because I just couldn't wait to play that game. It was my most anticipated. I'm like, this game is amazing. It looks so good. There's some little, like when you activate a cutscene that would kind of like started the system, the transition from gameplay to cutscene. And people were like, oh, that's awesome. And then I had some people in my Twitter comments and in my review that were like, how could you enjoy that game? It was 812p.
Oh my gosh.
I don't like the resolution stuff never really mattered. Yeah, I'm playing games now at a higher resolution, but it's the performance that I'm more interested in. Like it runs better. Like, yeah, it looks great too, but Wolfenstein 2 is great at 4K, great at ultra 4K or native 4K, and it's going to be great at 720p. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just wired differently than other people,
I know I am.
So, anything else you want to mention about the PC versus Xbox One X kind of debate? I wasn't really up on Microsoft comparing it to PC, to be honest with you.
Oh no.
I thought like the better comparison was to the Pro because they're both in the console space. And honestly, PC gaming is wide, right? What do you compare? Like there's low end PCs, mid range, high end PCs.
There's PCs with onboard graphics that a lot of big games won't even install on it. There's the mid range, $500, $300 to $800 PCs. There's the super powerful PCs. Yeah, it's a dumb thing to compare it to, and a lot of people say that it's apples to oranges. But the Pro and the Xbox One X are a compact PC. Really, they're Steambox type in hardware, right? Other than the processor and the GPU are built into one piece, but everything else, it's basically the guts of what a PC would be, and it's a cool idea. I kind of wish I could have gone that way with PC. Once you have those guts where you can pop off the side of your case and change stuff, you do get bit with a little bit of temptation to update or upgrade stuff. It's kind of a slippery slope. And there are times when, if a game drops weird frames on your console, you're like, what the heck's going on here? And it irons itself out. But on PC, you're like, man, what happened? Is my process something jamming up my processor? it's always just ridiculous.
Colt, do you know you have haters?
Oh yeah, I know. Because I'm dumb. That's the problem. Is I just have this. It's the way I look at things, and I wanted a PC, and I had these problems. I'm not smart enough to fix them, and so people just automatically think I'm just the dumbest guy on the planet. But I have close friends that are really smart in the PC. That's what they do, and they look at me like, "How in the world do you deal with that rig?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll fix it, and it'll be fine."
I'm surprised by how many people have come in here and said, like, for instance, this one guy says, "Why do you have this clown on your podcast?"
Oh, because I'm a clown. That's why.
I get my fair share of hate. There are people that don't like me. I get messages on Xbox Live and PlayStation.
Okay,
but
let's talk about fanboyism for a minute, because you and I say, yeah, we're fanboys of the Xbox, and people who don't like me, I would say 90% of them are fanboys of their platform or their PC, right? But
right.
what the problem with people on my videos, they never listen to me when I say, and I say this all the time in my videos, because I can't compare the Xbox to the PS4. Saying the PlayStation 4 has more bigger games. The PlayStation 4 is sold double the Xbox. PlayStation 4 is the most popular platform. PlayStation 4 gets all of the support from third-party developers because it's the biggest platform. And I say that because it's true. And people just think, it's just weird when they watch my videos, I think they just hear me say, PlayStation sucks. PlayStation sucks. And I don't say that. It's just strange. I think to call me a fanboy, you probably need to look at how you're fanboying against your own stuff, because I really try to make a fair assessment. And the Xbox has no games thing, I wasn't lying. People just don't like that perspective. But that's my perspective. That's how it is. There are games there. There's the exclusive games are lacking. What I could have done was taken the I don't know where that graphic is, but I think there was 6 games that were 90 and better on Xbox One on the platform, and there were 17 on PS4. What I could have done was given you the number of the aggregate score of both, and I bet they would have been really close, but PlayStation has double, 17 versus 6 or 8 or whatever it was, right? So you can always look at that, right?
I mean, yeah, I've never hid my preference for. I mean, I have a million gamer score, for Christ's sake. What do you think I played on for 10 years?
Right.
But like, I don't hate on PlayStation. I never have. I will talk about Sony and what they're doing on the channel, but I always thought I'd give them the same amount of credence and Shadow, or like Shadow of a Doubt, or that I would Microsoft. I know, like, hey, most of my subscribers, they're Xbox fans. They want to hear about Xbox news, and sometimes if the PlayStation stuff is big enough, I'll cover it. And I praise nothing else about their exclusives. I love Uncharted. I love Last of Us. I really enjoyed The Order and stuff. Like, I like video games, and when I play them, I will give them an honest review. I'm just not sure what else people like want from me. I don't know. Like, I like Xbox. I like my friends on here. I like playing video games, and I review them. I don't know. Like, even when I talked about the X, I don't compare the X to the PlayStation or to the PlayStation 4 Pro, because I'm not like, it doesn't matter to me that technically it's a better piece of hardware than the Pro. What mattered to me was that it's better than the original Xbox.
Right.
Yeah. And exclusives are kind of subjective experience for people. I know, like, people don't like Halo 5. And I know there's people out there that don't like Gears of War, just as I know there's people out there that don't like Bloodborne or don't like Neo and don't like Nier Automata or whatever. But it's like, to me, it seems like it's okay for you to critique Halo in certain instances. But if you say something like, I have no interest in Persona 5, which is true, right? I'm not saying Persona 5 is a bad game, right? And I'm not even saying I would never play Persona 5. All I'm saying is, like, at this point in time, there are way more games I would play ever before Persona 5. because Persona 5 and JRPGs in general just don't interest me. Now, it sucks that Xbox doesn't have the game, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to give your competition the exclusive games, de facto exclusive since they're third party. And there are fans on the Xbox who would play it. But for me, it's like, when I see the list wars everybody does, because you see them all the time, right? Here are the PlayStation exclusives. Here are the Switch exclusives. Here are the Xbox exclusives. I look at those lists and I'm like, well, that one interests me. That one interests me. That one interests me. And then the rest of the list doesn't. And then it's like on this one, it's like, well, this, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, people always kind of, they forget people are like subjective in nature. Like, people told me Horizon Zero Dawn is amazing, and I played it for a couple hours. I'm gonna go back to it, but a lot of people also told me it's boring.
Yeah, I've heard both.
I'll make up my own mind when I play it, but I don't understand. Like, sometimes, the whole fanboy thing, because I know you wanted to talk about it, but I wasn't sure like the era you wanted to like go in. But
I don't need to talk about it very long. It's pretty cut and dry, really.
It's a pretty cut and dry.
It is. Just about everybody is a fanboy. There are very few neutrals on this planet. And there are so many people that pretend they are. But, how many times have you been into an argument with somebody when you're talking about like some Xbox good news and they just hound you to no end, and then you go to their profile and they're like, their profile is plastered with PlayStation garb, like that's the weird thing. It's like I get called a fanboy and then I go to someone's Twitter profile and they've got like PlayStation decorations on their page. I'm like, what the heck?
PlayStation decorations.
Look at my profile. I've just got my graphics branding for my channel. Nothing's green. I don't have a tattoo, I love Xbox. I played on Xbox for a long time, and I played on PlayStation 3 for a while. It's just like, and I play on PC. I prefer Xbox because it's my favorite platform, and I'm going to report on it. And when good news comes out, I'm going to say something. But that's just, it's weird. It's just, I don't know. And just people think I lie all the time. That is the funniest thing. Like, link me where I lied. Show me. Show me where I told a lie. You can show me that you didn't like what I said, that you didn't like how I looked how I looked at something. I don't know. Tell me where I lied. It's so funny because I get all of my information.
Does it ever get to you though? I'm asking this question. I get it all the time in my comments and Twitter things. People disagree with me. They want me to, conform to their wishes. Does it ever get to you? Does it ever bother you, the people that kind of constantly nag and say you should conform to what they want? Because I know they tell you shouldn't, or you shouldn't, lead credence to what people say. But I like reading what people have to say. Like I have eye on the chat. I have it popped out here. I can read everything that goes on. And then I read all the comments to my videos, and it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I know I should just not give any credence, but I don't know. Maybe I just haven't developed enough where I just disregard everybody's opinion. I don't know.
Well, I have to. I guess your opinion has to count to me. I suppose it's just an opinion, really. I try not to give too many opinions, but when I look at Metacritic scores or like one of the most unpopular things I say is exclusives. Technically, I'll say like the exclusives don't matter because when you look at the sales, okay, saying exclusives don't matter is a really loaded thing to say. But when you look at the sales on the Xbox and the PlayStation, it's identical. 6 to 7% of game sales are multiplats. The top number 4 sold game this generation on both platforms is a console exclusive. I think it's Uncharted 4 and Gears of War are number 4 spots for each console. The next exclusive on the list is number 13 and number 15. People they get mad. They get mad at that statement, but I'm just looking at the sales. Like, multiplats are the biggest games, and they're the majority of what we're playing because there's way more multiplats. But exclusives still sell consoles, right? They have to, otherwise people wouldn't buy I mean, would you buy a certain console over the other? You get it because you want to play Uncharted or you really like Halo. But people just don't like that.
I mean, obviously, I think exclusives do matter. I think they help flesh out a library. And
Yep.
honestly, the only reason I wanted a PlayStation was for the exclusives. If the PlayStation played the exact same that I could play on the Xbox, there would be no point in getting the PlayStation. If it just played literally the same games I own. So,
oh yeah,
it does matter. Of course it does. Look at Nintendo. Like, look what they've done with just Zelda and Mario in the games. We have they're doing incredible, and it's because of the power of Mario and Zelda and the exclusives of Nintendo. Maybe that's kind of where Microsoft stumbled a bit. Like the power of Halo, which used to be right up there with Mario, is no longer as big. Gears is no longer as big. And it seems like Uncharted's bigger than that, or even like Last of Us. So it seems like some of the PlayStation franchises are gaining in prestige, along with the continued staying power of Nintendo, while you have a lot of the Microsoft exclusives not having that same level of prestige. Where we have Sunset Overdrive, we have Rise, we have all these games, but then you wonder why a PlayStation gamer was like, well, that's all you have? That's not interesting enough for me to get an Xbox, Like, yeah. I was watching Porter Rock. Shout out to Porter Rock. He did a podcast yesterday, and it was like, he said the PS4 is beating the Xbox because the Xbox is an average console.
Average? Average. No, yeah, he said something like that. Yeah, I remember that quote.
It's an average console because, like, he just got it now, and there's only a few exclusives to play that he wanted to, and it's like, hey, like, I'm coming from the PlayStation, so I have all these games there plus all the multiplat. So it's, I mean, I get it, and plus it's a person's opinion. That's another thing, is people get all upset when you have an opinion about something, and especially when that opinion differs from their own. Like, we disagree on the whole back compat thing, me and you.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't hate you over it for it, and it doesn't really enter. It's like, you think this way, I think a different way, right? Hell, I've been on record saying that the Sony exclusives for next year seem way cooler than the Xbox exclusives, right? And people will be like, Ryan, how could you say that? You're an Xbox fan. I'm like, hey man, this is my opinion. God of War looks fire, and so does Spider-Man. But then somebody else will say, no, man, Sea of Thieves and Crackdown 3 look better. And it's like, well, how could you argue against that? Because that's another person's opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, people get upset about opinions, and I'm not necessarily sure why.
You know what people get upset about more than anything? The Xbox.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Seriously, this generation, the bandwagon effect is so massive to hate on the Xbox platform, like everywhere, right? Don't you see this? Like, it's just, there's like, if you go on, I've been on so many chats and different feeds, like, on Twitter, social media, and there is like a whole hive mind of let's just make fun of Xbox. And it's really crazy. And it's because, and I was right there with them in the beginning when they announced the Xbox One with the Kinect and that stupid name Xbox One. I told my friends we were going PlayStation. It's, I was not happy with that. But the people that went PlayStation and the ones that are the kind that insult people, they're still riding that same wave of beating down on the Xbox constantly. Yeah, it's just,
I mean,
and that's part of what my channel, like, people say, oh, I just twist things. Cole, you just twist things to make the Xbox look better. I'm like, no, I don't. I just shine a light on them. Like, what? Like, Rand, you've watched my videos, right? I'm just shining a light on. An underachiever in the chat just said, why wouldn't you include all the games that are available on the platform? And that's what backward compatibility is. That, holy crap.
What?
Just got a really nice super chat.
Wow. Gaming Forte with the $500 super chat. thank you. I don't know what else to really say, but let's talk about what he says. He says, I think people just like to hate on what you like, and that will never change. I stopped trying to convince people to understand that everyone doesn't like the same thing. I love Xbox for a reason. If that doesn't match your interest, then that is on you. Working at GameStop, I get asked which system is better, and I always say it's personal preference. And that's exactly what I say too, man. Like, I like Xbox. That's not going to change, right? Unless literally they came out and Phil was like, yeah, we're not making any more exclusives, or they did something to me personally, right?
Yeah.
And I enjoy PlayStation. I do. The games there are great as well. The exclusives that Sony has put out, like, I'm enjoying playing in them. So I'm fine with my Xbox One X playing the games that I always play, and then include, I'm gonna get, I don't know, man. I hate the fight. I hate the Xbox versus PlayStation stuff. Honestly, it gets old after a while. Because at the end of the day, we're all gamers. We should want everything to succeed. I understand there are PlayStation fans.
Rand, I've talked to so many people that want Microsoft put out a press release that they're closing the Xbox division. That is, they act like that all the time. And look at the benefits we're seeing. The X is already pushing so many benefits for the Pro and pushing out more support and more enhanced games for the Pro. And it's going to make developers, there's going to be better graphics and games for developers to push because they have a better console out there. That's why the mid-generation is good. And PC gamers can benefit too. Everybody can benefit from hardware not being really crappy. I mean, if we were all playing on the Oya or whatever that thing was called, we'd all be in big trouble. I mean, yeah, the Android phone is so fantastic because the iPhone is so fantastic. This is, and then you have people who fight over those too.
I don't know, man. Why gaming is supposed to be enjoyable, is it not?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's supposed to be. Yeah.
Like, all right, we're gonna have a guest join us in 1 second. She requested to join. Colt.
Okay.
And I guess, and who
it might be. No.
Yes. So let me get the link, and we'll get here in here. Anything else you want to say on Fanboys, Colt?
No, that's it. That's fine.
That's it.
I don't care. People can call me whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm having fun playing games. And they're just arguments. Really, lately, if people want to argue for like 3 minutes and it's just kind of, it's not going anywhere, then I've got better things to do. I really do. I don't need to fight for a whole day.
I know, right? Tell me about it. I wish people. I mean, I know people came together on the Star Wars thing, but fuck,
fudge.
I kind of like lost my train of thought. Honestly,
you're doing 3 things at once. You were saying people came together on Battlefront 2. You talking about microtransactions again? Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know, right?
I heard the game's not doing very well, that people are having a hard time finding matches.
Yeah, well, Gaming Forte says he bet to do 50, but he put 500 on accident. So I got to figure out how to refund him the 450.
Oh, it was a holy cow. Yeah, I'm sure you can.
I mean, I don't know, because the super chats through Google.
You can message him later, and you can send him $450 back on PayPal.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't figure out, yeah, like I'll just have to.
But you'll have to figure out if there's going to be a fee and make sure you adjust for that.
But still,
very cool.
Any amount of money is, greatly appreciated. Like, even if it's $1. But yeah, I'm gonna have to like look into Super Chat and see if how to do that. If not, I'll just have to give him $450. Anyways, I sent the DM to Lucca. I don't know where she's at.
Probably connecting up. Yeah. Let me just say, Assassin's Creed Origins, I thought I was done with the series after Unity. Unity wasn't very good, and I never even really gave Syndicate a chance, even though people really had some good things to say about it. I just couldn't get back into it. but holy crap, Assassin's Creed Origins is amazing. I mean, it's totally beat out Shadow of War. I thought Shadow of War was going to be my favorite game this year, but holy cow. I mean, Brand, you haven't played it, but
I played an hour of it, you know? So, yeah, I mean, there's just some other games I wanted to play. You know what game's really surprising me right now is Call of Duty World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look really nice. I'm glad they finally got out of the whole nonsense. They would have done it earlier, but they probably already had development for the last futuristic one, and they had to just keep going and finish it, even though they knew they were a year or two overdone on that. But
yeah, they even originally said that they wanted to do Advanced Warfare 2, and somehow it didn't, or whatever. Like they were forced to make World at War 2 or World at War, World War, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Can you guys hear me?
She's
hey,
here.
What's up? The troll leader is here. What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Lucca? How you joining the show? We're me and Colt doing okay?
Yeah, y'all are doing really good. No, Colt, stop it. Stop. Colt's always going on, and he's like, yeah, I guess I'm a fanboy. I guess no one likes me. I guess I'm a loser. I'm like, it's all good. No worries, man. No worries. But yeah, I heard you guys, talking about fanboys, and I wanted to hop in because, like you, Rand, I don't necessarily, obviously I'm on the Xbox right now, right? I say anything against the X, people come at my throat. I mean, they used to. A lot of them know better now. But when I first got on Twitter, it was like a constant battle because I couldn't just say my opinion without people from both sides coming at me on a constant daily basis. And I'm just like, all right, this is cute. This is cool. It's like, if you don't agree with everyone, that's it, If you don't fall in line, that's it. They try to kick you out as they did with Rand after the crackdown thing, little debacle there, which was ridiculous.
Gosh.
How can you kick someone out of a freaking community? That shit was so stupid. It's so stupid. It just goes to show how delusional some people are on the internet. It's like they take this console war stuff, which is a fictional war, to another level. They actually believe this stuff is real. They spend time in and day out just constantly fighting with each other. Twitter is super negative. It is just a breeding ground of hate.
Oh yeah. It's
pretty gross. And I'm just like, oh, you know what? I like the chaos. I like drama. But even I'm just like, you know what? I gotta go because you're taking this way too seriously. It's like way too much. And I don't know. People don't like you if you speak up or if you go against the grain, if you go against the crowd. They want you to fall in line like everyone else because that's what they're doing, right? If you don't agree with someone's opinion, you're automatically wrong. It's like they don't seem to understand that opinions are not facts. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah.
Like, it's baffling to me that if you don't agree with someone, they automatically just despise you. They say, well, you must be stupid because you don't agree with me, or something must be wrong with you because you don't agree with me. Like, their opinion actually matters. Like, who are you except for a stranger on the internet? Matter of fact, why do you care that a stranger on the internet does not agree with you? Doesn't make any sense to me. It's baffling. The console war thing completely baffles me. None of this makes any sense. I've been in this community for almost a year now, and I still have question marks above my head whenever I see people do and say certain things because, logically speaking, it doesn't make any sense.
Like Lucca sent out a tweet, like some good news about like Wolfenstein runs it, tops out at 2000p at 60 frames per second, like on the Xbox One X. Like that would be a tweet, right? And just watch the haters from the PC community or the PS4 community come in and just start bashing Xbox for not having any games or some other game for dropping frames. It's like you can't even talk about what you like anymore. People are so hateful. Like, go watch my videos. Mostly everything in my video is mostly positive stuff about the Xbox or informational stuff. And there's a little bit of other stuff in there that can be controversial, but the majority of what I do is, like I said, shine a light on what the Xbox platform is because people seem to not have any clue. They're so uninformed when they say things about the Xbox. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they really are. And you know what? Another thing. Hey, my PSN is Lucy Quinn. All lowercase LUCYQUINN. Go check my trophies, okay? Before you call me a PlayStation hater, losers.
Because you don't have them hidden.
No, I mean I don't hide my achievements and I don't hide my trophies. You know, I've only been gaming hardcore for just 3 years now. Go check my trophies. I got on Xbox at the beginning of this year. I've been on PlayStation all gen. So don't come at me saying, Lucca, you're a PlayStation hater, because you don't actually know anything about me, which is another thing, right? It's like people see you on one show or see one tweet of yours and they automatically just make an assumption about you. And that's the end all be all. Like, that's the end of it, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, okay, so you're disagreeing now. So automatically you are this. Like, I haven't just disagreed with the other side the other day. It's like, it baffles me, really. Go check my PSN. And then come back at me later and say I'm not a PlayStation. I love PlayStation. I love my PlayStation. You know, you can check my trophies. You can, oh, and by the way, play Dark Souls. You don't play Dark Souls, you're not a real hardcore gamer. I'm just letting you guys know that.
Y9 Power says, Lucca, you're a young, beautiful gamer.
Oh, wow.
Oh, thank you. Why not? You're always so nice. Thank you.
Young, beautiful gamer, huh? I thought she was like 50, though.
First of all, sir, you're right.
I mean, I feel like this is like almost turning into RDX now. We got two members of the show here. Next thing I'm expecting is all day, all fraud digital to hop on in, and then, you know, Fonza Fraud Rally, right?
Man, what a great group of people that Luke and I get to work with on RDX. The nicest awesome guys on the freaking planet. And yeah, they are just great. And I you know, it's cool. We kind of have our own little chat going. We kind of keep up with each other and share news and stuff. Yeah, it's just been really good to work with that team. It's a good time. If we don't have RDX, we get pretty bummed. So
yeah. Well, Lucca, since you're here, why don't you share your thoughts on the X? I know you got it. I know you're playing stuff on it. What do you think about the system?
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. Honestly, I just recently upgraded my TV and I got the X and it's fun. I like it a lot. You know, I'm really liking the idea of being able to choose between 4K and like higher frames, because I'll always choose performance over how something will look. So I like it a lot because of that, and I really hope that more devs take the Tomb Raider and Gears route and just give us the option, because options are always good for us. You know, I don't understand anyone who can argue against having options. I love it. And it's not a waste of money for me personally, and you know, for people who come at me saying you wasted your money with this, you don't need to be concerned with how I spent my money. So
that's right.
Mind your business. Unless you're buying something for me, then you know.
Which everybody does. Everybody buys little Lucca something.
Sir, you literally just got $50, but okay. Technically 500, but okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you guys this about the Phil Spencer stuff from yesterday, about how hardware is done, the OS is complete. You know, they did the stuff with back compat, and now it's time to work on first party. And that new work has started on first party. You know, what do you guys think? You know, he said this before. He said it once in 2014.
Yeah, it's 3 years too late. You and I said this the other night. This is something that they should have been doing, because it takes 3 years to get out a AAA game at least. So I'm not looking forward to waiting 2 or 3 years for super powerhouse brand new IP. Yeah, that's too bad.
So you feel like they should have did work on the new IPs first and then the console second?
Well, when Phil Spencer took over and Matrick left, you know, I mean, that was the time to look for some new IPs, but they were working on Scalebound and they were working on Crackdown and a couple other big games. But yeah, it's kind of turned into a bad ordeal at this point. I'm the only guy on the planet who's looking forward to Crackdown 3. I am honestly, seriously looking forward to that game.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? That's opinions for you.
I'm looking forward to it. I like Crackdown. wasn't like I just didn't like the way they were marketing it or handling it. But I mean, Lucca, what do you think? Let me ask you this: what do you want to see from Xbox first party outside of Halo and Gears? What would make you happy?
An RPG.
So any sort of RPG. So if they did Fable, a new Fable, that would do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer RPGs. You know, honestly, RPGs are my favorite. It's what I played mostly on my PlayStation. I like single player story driven games, and I like more mature games. Like, come on, Microsoft, let's Sea of Thieves, really? Okay, well,
Super
hopefully.
Lucky's Tale, really?
I mean, I can't say anything about that because one of my friends really likes the game, but
yeah,
no, actually, I can't say something about it. Please give me more mature games. I don't want to play Super Lucky's Tale. Like, I don't.
No.
What about Disneyland Adventures?
Ew.
What about Zoo Tycoon and Pick Up Pooh for an achievement in that game?
Bruh, no, I'm good.
What about Rush, a Disney Pixar adventure?
No, I'm good.
So Lucca wants a hardcore, mature RPG for the Xbox One X, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. And what would you want, Colt? What do you want from Microsoft that isn't Halo, Gears, or Forza?
Well, that's the type I like the AAA semi-mature games. There's the kid games I'll play with my kids, but I think that the Coalition should make a first-person shooter a different kind of game. And I'm stealing this idea from PlayStation, how they had Guerrilla Games make Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it should flip-flop. Coalition should make a first-person game like some of their team that worked with People Can Fly to make Bulletstorm, which is an excellent game. I think Coalition should make a first-person campaign shooter game. And I think that 343 Studios should make a third-person open-world game. I think I don't really think that they should be doing the Halo series. I don't really care for what they've done compared to the first couple of Halos. I like Halo 5. I like Halo Warzone Firefight and everything like that, but I would like to see 343 do something different instead of being stuck on the Halo mold.
Sir,
Crazy.
I love Halo.
Yeah,
I don't think you'll see a day where they don't do Halo.
Well, why can't they do something else? You know, why can't they build a different game while they also, finish Halo 6 and start working on something different to put a little break in between Halo?
No, my buddy Loveboat
Xbox
Gopher in chat says he agrees with Lucca and that we need more adult Japanese dating sims on the Xbox.
Ew.
Oh, no.
It baffles me, right? Because most of those games that the Xbox players make fun of, those are like in the minority, They're kind of like off to the side, those odd games with like Japanese schoolgirls and stuff. And then they act like the PlayStation, like that's all that they have on their platform. It's very strange to me, considering the PlayStation has like Bloodborne and Cole, I'm talking about you, sir. Has Bloodborne and The Last of Us and Uncharted. Did you forget about those games? Like, I'm sure your buddy's just joking, but I'm speaking in general.
No, what I'm saying is, you look at the library of games. There's like, let's say there's 2,000 PS4 games and there's 1,300 Xbox games. Rand, you agree with that? Generalization?
How many?
2,000 on PlayStation and 1,300 on Xbox.
That's probably about right around right, yeah.
Okay, let's just say that number, all right? Now, what Lucca was saying about those Japanese like niche titles or niche titles, there's a good portion of that extra 700 games. There could be 400 games that are like the Japanese style games that are extra on the PlayStation. There's a lot of them. Like this year in 2017, there was like 40 games that came out on the PlayStation that didn't come out on the Xbox. and on that list, a lot of them were Japanese games that I didn't hear anybody talking about all year.
Because like I said, they're in the minority. They
are in the minority.
No one is thinking about them. No one is really playing them except for a few weirdos.
No, I mean there's people that absolutely love Japanese titles, and there's a Japanese market that plays those Japanese titles. But mostly people like us, we're talking to American, European, British gamers, right? We're talking to, and we're always hearing about the games they're playing. So the big games on PlayStation: Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier, Neo, Hellblade, Lawbreakers, a whole bunch of games, right?
Ew.
But there was a lot of big budget games.
Lawbreakers.
But nobody was talking about some of the other Japanese stuff. But there's a big chunk of those games on PlayStation that don't come to the Xbox. And more is better. Like more games is better. If you have options, and if you like a certain type of games, if that chunk of games is in your preference, then PlayStation's for you. Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's, you shouldn't, what's the word? Just assume that 60 plus million people are all one way. You know what I mean? Because, there's people who assume that people who game on PlayStation, you can't really make an assumption. That's like saying that all Xbox gamers are like 300 plus pound, long bearded, male chauvinistic pigs who just eat Doritos and drink Mountain Dew. Like you can just make that. You can make that generalization about Xbox. So I just don't think it's fair to make any sort of, put any sort of generalization on any type of person who plays on these certain platforms. You know what I mean? My grandma has an Xbox. So my mom, I gave her one of my Xboxes. So, we're all different. I have an Xbox and I have a PlayStation. I just, as long as you enjoy games, you can't just make an assumption that someone playing on a certain platform is a certain way, which is easy for people to do on the internet. Like, I get it, guys. There's a lot of weirdos on Twitter, but that's like the vocal minority. Not everyone is like that. Most casuals are just like, yeah, let me just pick up this system for Madden and Call of Duty. And they're, well-functioning humans in society.
And if you come at Lucca with your opinions and she didn't ask for them, like when I told her Justice League is poo, even though I've never seen it, she'll block you.
Yeah, I did. I blocked Rand.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You never could. You never could block me.
I definitely blocked you. I've had you blocked for months now.
No, not me. Not me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Lucca? Like talk about that we maybe mentioned before, or you just wanted to rant about Fanboys?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to rant about Fanboys. Like, listen, y'all need to leave me alone. Okay, that's all I gotta say. All I gotta say, leave me alone. All right. I don't care if you want to do your console war stuff and you guys want to hate on each other and say outrageous things to each other. Just leave me alone. If you see me make a post. You know what? Most of the time, I say something general. I don't think it's going to blow up. I come back, and it's 16,000 people, exaggeration, obviously, coming at my throat. No, you're wrong, Lucca, because I feel this way, and if you feel this way, then I'm like, no, please, just leave me alone, all right? Just, please. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, yesterday, a multi-platform gamer tweeted out that he just returned his Xbox One X and instead bought the $189 S, the Xbox. And he got attacked by a bunch of Xbox gamers he said, I don't need an X. I'll just play all of my pretty games on the Pro. And a bunch of Xbox gamers attacked him because they're like, all the multi-platforms look better on the X. And yeah, he got hounded for that. But it's that was that dude's money, man. That wasn't your money. That was his money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's also the person who said that is a known troll in the community. People should know better than they should have just left him alone, because it's clear that he got the system just so he could be yeah, I had it. It sucks. I'm going to take it back, because there are people who do that. This is not the first time I've seen someone who clearly has a bias against something, buys an entire system, and then takes it back within the week just so they can say, I own the system. I can say that I can't tell the difference. And also, like I said, this person, known troll in the community, people should just learn to take whatever this dude says with a grain of salt, because he's obviously just trying to mess with everyone. And it worked because he got a lot of replies.
Yeah. I think, didn't he? He posted in the middle of a Xbox post, I think it was. Yeah. Yikes.
So, you know what?
Nice.
I figure we open up some questions for you guys. So if you guys have any questions for Colt or Lucca, throw them up in chat. If you want to ask what Lucca's favorite ice cream is, you can do that. She'll answer. Or if you want to ask what You know, I saw this question earlier. It was from Face23BKNY. Is there a game that would make you want to get a PS4, Colt?
Yes.
There is. What game would that be? Or what
Horizon
game is
Zero
it?
Dawn.
Oh,
Well, actually, technically it'd be Spider-Man. I want to play Spider-Man, but Horizon Zero Dawn's been on my radar all year. That's my kind of game. Open world, third person, shooting the bow and arrow, knocking pieces off of the robots. Like, I've always been super interested in that game.
and how come you haven't gotten the system yet? If you
I'm
want to
gonna
play
get
that
one
game?
in the spring because,
Oh.
well, because I keep telling people, like, for me to buy I'd like to buy the Pro because I have a 4K TV. I just think that's the right thing to do. And I think I could if I could get one for under $400, I mean, my buddy just bought one used on Craigslist, came with a whole bunch of crap for $250. He's like, you'll never find a deal like that. But I've been telling people, because people just think I'm a PlayStation hater, but well, so dumb. But anyway, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Infamous Second Son are like the system sellers for me. And I've I made the mistake. I guess you could call it a mistake. 2 years ago, I was at the crossroads of saying, should I buy a PS4 to put next to my Xbox, or should I get a PC so I can do graphics? And because I do graphics as a side job, so I could do graphics and do my YouTube channel. And I chose the graphics and YouTube channel, and the PS4 wouldn't have made me any money. But that's why I've waited. You know. It's funny because, you know, I'm a dad, I'm a family guy, and I don't get to game as much as most people, you know, younger than me. So for me to have two consoles and a gaming PC, you know, in one room just seems like overkill. And but I am going to get the PS4, but it's just kind of like I was at that threshold, you know, where I'm like, how nerdy really am I? You know, gaming's my favorite thing. So I have to make that decision.
So, Lucca, what's your favorite ice cream?
Cookies and cream, and uncompetitive, you eat slowly. Also, crotchy tuna. I sound like I sound like Michael Cera, and I look like Jabba the Hutt. So there's that.
Beautiful.
I don't know the Muffin Man Texan, and let's see here. And honestly, let's see here. Face. I was listening to MNC, and I was just trying to find positive Xbox news because I want to get an Xbox One S, and I called into MNC, and I let them know. I'm like, hey, you know what? I stumbled onto Xbox Nation. You guys really helped inform my decision to buy an Xbox, and they liked my call, and I was invited on a podcast, and it went from there. Basically, is what happened.
And that's how Lucca's here. Lucca from the second floor.
Lucca from the second floor. My favorite game of all time is probably Mass Effect 2.
Whoa, holy smokes. We're like right there.
Yeah?
Yeah. It depends on the day. I switch between Red Dead Redemption and Mass Effect 2. Oh man, it's such a great game.
Yeah, I love Mass Effect 2. Yes, Top Dog, I am crazy, and if you come at me, I'll kill you. Mr. Titan, will we ever be on WWP? I'm not known in the community. They don't know who I am, so probably not. And Eminem's coming out with a new album. I have to check that out.
Yeah, Trotsky G with the super chat says, great podcast. Really enjoyed it. And we really enjoyed doing it. This is kind of a one-time thing because Colt's always busy. We talk about collaborating. Maybe we still will. Maybe I'll show up in one of Colt Eastwood's multi-million-dollar production videos down the road.
The man with $1 million,
you know,
on a multi-million-dollar production.
Yeah, and then I mean, I think this is my first time podcasting with Lucca.
Is it? Probably.
Is it? I don't know because I don't get invited on to RDX or other podcasts.
Oh my God! You can come on RDX.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Harvin, name good Marvel. I like Civil War and I like Thor. Let me think.
Thor Ragnarok was great.
Will Xbox win
the
November?
First Iron Man.
That's a good question.
Ooh,
Will Xbox win November NPD? Colt?
Probably not.
Nope. It's going to go to the Switch.
Okay,
yeah.
So Switch for Colt. And you think the same thing, Lucca? Switch is going to win?
Also,
all right, what about the Xbox versus PlayStation?
The PS4 is still selling like crazy. It's somebody just sent me a link that the Pro and the PSVR are way up on the list, top list for Amazon bestsellers.
I did see that. Like, yeah, it is selling extremely well, and it's weird. Like, so you can get a Pro or a PS4 Slim right now for $199, right?
Yeah.
And Xbox is not dropping the price of the S to $189 until 2 days from now. But it's like the Slim's been on sale for what, 3 or 4 days now, right? I think since the 17th.
Yeah.
It's like why didn't they drop the price at the same time? Because now you're going to have a whole bunch of people over the last 4 days spend $200 on a PS4 and maybe not have enough money or be like, hey, I have a PlayStation, I don't need an Xbox. It's like, why'd they wait? I don't understand. I don't understand that. You know,
I don't know. Maybe did they line it up with their game sales schedule?
I don't know. I don't know what they lined it up with. I just find it weird. They basically just let Sony drop the prices of all their systems with no competition on their end. Like the Xbox is still the same price it has been. It's dropping in a couple days, but it's like, you know, the PS4 for $200. If I didn't already have the Pro, I would have bought it. Like that would have been like, all right, that's it. I'm getting the Slim. That's an incredible deal. And I even saw PSVR was doing incredibly well. You know?
Yeah, they dropped the price. Pretty big price drop.
Yeah. Man, we got a lot of questions in here.
Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. I want to answer that. Okay, let's see here. If I could choose one video game character to have a conversation with, who would it be? Miranda Lawson from Mass Effect 2. Okay. I love her. You know what? I always beat up Colt. I verbally abuse him, Mike M. So he's used to it. And then what?
What?
Would I like
was
to
that a question?
Yeah, that was it. I mean, it was a comment. Okay, you guys can answer the other questions. They're directed at you guys as well. So.
What are they?
Okay. One of the questions from Texan Wolverine is, if you could choose one video game character to have a conversation with, who would it be? And it's directed at Colt and Rand as well as me.
If you have a conversation with a video game character, John Marston, easily John Marston.
That makes sense.
You know, I've never honestly thought about any of this stuff ever. Like it, so it's like when you have, who would you want to have a conversation with? I honestly couldn't tell you because it's never crossed my mind once about a video game character I would want to have a discussion with.
Okay.
Here's a question.
Maybe
another question is,
so I can ask him what's his favorite thing in the Citadel.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I don't know.
Somebody in the chat asked why I wouldn't make more PlayStation videos since I got the most views for the PS5 video. It's funny that people look at it that way because the PlayStation 5 is coming video is actually an Xbox One X video. That whole video is actually slighted to push the idea that PlayStation gamers want the PS5 when the X is coming out, and it has been a success because a lot of PlayStation fanboys try to pretend like power and graphics don't matter, but as soon as Xbox came with more power, wow, did they really ramp up. And I've seen it. It's been crazy to see the comments because I had some really big videos before that one, and they really want a PS5 because they've got the more games, but for the next 3 years, the Xbox One X is going to be doing more visually than the PlayStation platform can do. And if you like the way your games look, and a lot of us are going to be playing multiplats, 80% of the time we're all going to be playing multiplats, right? So the Xbox is going to have the upper hand. And that's what that whole video is about.
This is where I'm going to disagree with you on this. Multi-platform, sure. But I think God of War and Detroit Become Human and the Sony exclusives are on a different tier than Xbox exclusives when it comes to the way they look and the graphics and everything. Like they're just on a different tier, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. And Xbox doesn't have a single huge game like that. They haven't. I mean, the biggest game they've put out really is Halo 5 and Gears 4. As far as
Gears 4 is a great looking game.
Oh yeah.
And Halo 5 is a great looking game now that it's been fixed. But yeah. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff, a lot of questions here, and I kind of feel bad because like it's getting about the time. I didn't want to like keep Colt forever. You know, maybe I should lock him in my basement and have him produce my videos. Come on, Colt. Maybe we could have a little misery here. I'll be the damn. I forget the two characters now.
Jamie to a water pipe.
Yeah, I'd be like do graphics work for me now.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, this conversation went left and got creepy real fast. But okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna end the show. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Lucca, tell the fine folk where they can, check you out at, and then tell them your opinions, and you can block them all.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, I'm at the Ashen Lucca on Twitter, and you can also find me on RDX Podcast. That's Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Dealer Gaming's channel. And I'm also on this podcast called Speak. Rand has been on it. I'm going to try and get Colt on it. It is not a gaming podcast. It's a podcast about life. And thanks for having me on. You know, I totally forced myself on, but you know, whatever.
Yeah,
and everyone in the chat, you guys rock. You're awesome. Thanks to the people who asked me to come on. You guys, I appreciate it.
And Crotchety Tuna, I am a Wheel-Time series fan. That's my gamer tag, and my name is named after. But Colt Eastwood, thank you so much for coming on and having a discussion. I had people tweeting me that they lost all respect for me for having you on here. So yeah, because I knew the Xbox versus one PC thing would get people in their feels, and honestly, I don't think we even talked about it that much.
No, we didn't. I mean, I just told you how I felt playing it versus PC. Yeah.
So if you guys want to follow Colt, all his Twitter and his YouTube links are in the description of the show. He produces pretty awesome videos. He just did one for the Xbox One X review. Make sure you follow him there. And Colt, do you have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, just have fun playing games. There's some good stuff out right now, so stay busy. Have a good time.
Yeah, so we had like 390 people pretty much the whole time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this impromptu podcast. Thanks for everybody who used a super chat to show their support. I know Gaming Forte dropped 500, but it was actually 50. But either way, I really appreciate all the support, and hopefully he can get his money back, because I don't want to take all that money from him since he didn't want to give it. Like, I kind of would feel bad about that, because if it happened to me, I'd be like, oh crap, if I couldn't pay my bills, so hopefully everything gets worked out on that end. But thank you guys for watching. I'll be posting more videos throughout the week. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see everybody tomorrow for Xbox 2 with me and Jez. So,
bye.
Later.